This ends now.
I agree. Go!
Quite a right hook on your partner.
Wait till you see mine.
Yes, I feel like a transformer. Autobots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side Projekt Podcast. I went low with it today. Podcast. Let's take a sip, ladies and gentlemen. God, tastes like glory. Jesus Christ, it tastes like glory. How is everybody doing, man? Oh, yes. Holy bat balls, Batman. James Gunn has brought out the guns. Or he's brought the downfall. I don't know, man. It depends on what side that you're on. Everybody seems a little divided on this, man. Depends on where your thoughts lie, where my thoughts lie, where my guest thoughts lie. And we're going to talk about my thoughts. We're going to talk about your thoughts. Hopefully you go down in the comments and you type in your thoughts. I fucking love this. Oh, I hate this. And you hit the space bar with your forehead. We're going to get hopefully everybody's thoughts here. Everybody's thoughts, man. And we're not going to waste much time with the banter this week. So grab your Side Projekt gear over on the Side Projekt merch store right now. I'll give you a quick sec. Maybe you don't got it. Maybe you got to get up, whether you're watching this on the couch, on your phone, maybe you're listening in your car and you got to go in the back seat and you got to fumble around. You got to pull out a Projekt Park mug or maybe the Run It Up mug, or maybe you're like, oh shit, fuck, I forgot to wear my Run It Up tee, and you throw it on real quick. Or maybe you even got the Life's Always Better with a pot of Side Projekt. I'm fucking up my own slogans here. Life's always better with a pot of Side Projekt. I like that one because life is definitely always better with a pot of Side Projekt, you know? And you sit there and you eat it. Or maybe you do the cat thing. Maybe you're a cat and you grab it with a cat. Cats, I don't know. Cats do weird shit. But we're going to talk about a flurry of things DC this week, man. Originals, indies, fan-made, you name it, man. And I am joined by two very talented people who partake in many things DC related. One started out as and still runs a successful blog/news Instagram account, if you will, that posts many things in the DC realm. Some of the latest, the greatest, some updates, some opinions, a place where the comment section flourishes with DC fans alike. And he took his love for DC and Batman and forged it into a form of an audiobook that sees an experienced Bat take on the likes of the Joker, the Executioner, Professor Pyg, all while dealing with his troubled relationship with Jason Todd in the aftermath of him being the Red Hood. He enlisted in the voice acting abilities of my other guests to take on several roles in the audiobook, such as Jason Todd himself, Professor Pyg as well, alongside the Mad Hatter. That's right, you heard it right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and give a warm welcome to one, the Legion of Geeks creator and writer, Batman of Batman, Stained Heir, Jason Ortega, and number two, actor, singer, writer, Aidan Proko. How you guys doing, man? How you guys doing? Bro,
I appreciate you being here. You know,
yes.
I enjoyed being here the last time, so I'm just happy to do it again. And
definitely.
I'm happy to have Aiden with me this time.
Yes, definitely, man. Definitely, man. How you guys doing today as a whole, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing freaking great. Honestly,
yes.
It is a privilege to be here. I have been working really, really hard on, putting in all of the stuff that I need for Stained Heir, making sure that I got all the lines all up to date and everything, making sure that I had all the emotion that I needed to get in through it.
Yes.
So it's been going pretty good, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely, dude. I'm excited to have you guys here. We're going to talk about so many things. Fucked up the intro there a little bit. I don't think I've messed up my intro in like months, man. Maybe a whole year. I've been pretty solid on that, man. But hey, mistakes happen. Jason, man, you've been here before, dude. We did a whole episode together when Stained Heir first came out, man. I believe it was like only episode 1 out at the time. And now episodes 1 through 5 are out on Spotify. And the series finale is on the way. The project is phenomenally done, dude. Amazing writing, amazing voice acting. Many thanks to all the voice actors, especially one that's here right now as well, covering several roles, Aiden Proko. But Jason, for people that don't know you, man, or maybe not even know Batman Stained Heir, let's give them a little bit of a background real quick, before we dive into anything else, because it's been a little bit, it's been a while since you've been here, you know what I mean? So who is Jason Ortega and what is Batman Stained Heir?
So who is Jason Ortega? Trying to figure that out myself. But I guess I would say that at the moment, he's a guy that owns the Legion of Geeks, and he wants to get into writing and acting. How he's going to do that, he does not know, but we'll see. But aside from that, Staying There is basically just a audio drama that I basically did as a passion project, just to be like, okay, what would it be like if I did a Batman story, just a really short one in an audio format. And yeah, it's kind of just my attempt at that. And thankfully, it is a project that seems to be getting finished. It's something that I didn't just drop out on. And that's thanks to tons of people, including Aiden. So
yeah, definitely, man. It's absolutely awesome. Like I keep saying, episodes 1 through 5 are out right now. You guys have to go see it. I mean, go listen to it. It's absolutely amazing, dude. Aiden, how did you and Jason meet? How did you get attached to the project as well? And like, were you always aimed to play Jason Todd? What's the whole story behind that?
So yeah, it's actually a funny story. I technically didn't personally know Jason until he reached out to me for the project. We had initially been a part of a little group chat that he put together on Instagram, full of just like, a bunch of people who, usually talk about a bunch of like nerd related stuff, related to DC, mostly DC, but some would veer towards Marvel.
Nice.
So every once in a while, there'd be times where like I'd send voice messages in chat, impersonating certain characters that I loved, like Mark Hamill's Joker. I believe I even did one by Barry Keoghan's Joker. And with that, he asked me if I was willing to audition for a role in Stained Air. And initially I was like, okay, I've never done professional voice acting before, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Who are you thinking of? And he said, Nightwing. I was like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. I'm like, dude, I love Nightwing. He's like objectively the best Robin. So I was like, dude, yeah, I'd be totally down for that. But a little thing ended up happening. We plans changed, and then like out of pretty much the blue, like after I'd already finished my lines for Nightwing, he came up to me and said, "Hey man, actually, I think your voice would like be perfect for Jason."
Yeah.
So I was like, after that, it pretty much changed like my whole perspective on like the project. I immediately jumped towards it, but like after accepting it, I had to like walk back a little bit and be like, oh wait, am I even like in the right headspace to like portray like literally one of my favorite characters in comics? Like I've loved Jason Todd ever since I was like 9 years old, before I even barely knew what comics were, after I saw Under the Red Hood animated movie.
Yes.
And after
that,
it was
great
pretty much
movie,
just
by the way. Great movie.
Yeah, no. And honestly, if I were to like pinpoint like any specific point on where my inspiration for my Jason came from, it is most definitely from Jensen Ackles' amazing performance in that movie.
Yes.
But I was cognizant enough to make it my own. And like I said, man, I am so honored to portray such an amazing, depthful character. And I love playing Jason and going into his mindset.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, you're aside even just from Jason, you're taking up a lot of roles on this project, man. You got a lot going on your shoulders there, man. Jason Todd, Red Hood. You've got Professor Pyg, Hatter, and some additional voices as well. I mean, would you say that you favor one role more than the others? I know you kind of just said, in-depth character with Jason Todd there and everything. Is there any role that you just loved getting into character more than another, or you kind of like them all equally?
I gotta be honest with you, man. As much of a sick son of a bitch as he is, Pyg is where it's at. I know for a fact that I always had in my mind like an idea of what Professor Pyg sounded like. Obviously, it comes a lot from Arkham Knight, from seeing that performance. I forget the actor's name, but he did such a great job with it and really portrayed the psychopathy of him just beautifully. And Laszlo himself is like I really do think he takes pleasure in everything that he does, whether it's torture, whether it's putting on a show, much in the same vein as many other Batman villains, but with a hint of more flair than I think most others have. Yeah. And he's definitely the most sadistic of all of them. So I had to really reach deep inside my vocal cords, I guess you could say, to really find that voice.
Oh, look at you, so ugly. Disgusting. Do not fret, dear, for I am here to save you. Your turn has come. Silence? Silence to me! Never. Time disagrees. Time is mine. Time is yours. Today, the teapot decides. It decides to fry the sky.
Because that definitely is not me. And I want to make it perfectly clear to everyone who ends up listening to it. I promise you, I'm not like that on the daily. I'm not dancing around in a pig mask, going around.
Well, you did
making Dollartrons.
Phenomenal job, dude. I mean, that's what it's all about, though, too. Whether it be acting or voice acting, is being able to break out of yourself and jump into that character, understanding that character, getting into the mindset of that character, and developing the voice inflections and everything of that character, kind of becoming it. And you did an amazing job with that, man. When I heard that, I was like, God damn, like it's so good. And the same thing with Hatter as well, like the spoiler alert here, but with the crying and everything, the kind of like the whimpering that he does and stuff like that. Like, I mean, where did you take any inspiration that you can of note for Hatter as well? Or was that you just jump into that character and what you wanted to see? How did that go about?
With Hatter, it was like a specific type of figure that I wanted to present through my voice. Usually what people think of voice acting and what I used to think of voice acting is that it's purely based on how you say certain words, how you do certain things with the character, but really it's how you think of the image of the character. What I started to get in my mind was just this like small, dastardly, acne-ridden, like prepubescent creep who probably hasn't had a shower in like a few weeks and has incredibly oily, greasy hair, but also is very much childlike. He's definitely like, a person that never really grew up out of like a certain area. And I really did try to like, especially with Pyg, Hatter, and Jason, I wanted to make sure that like all three of those had like a reason for doing what they were doing, like more so than just like getting into character was, finding the character, analyzing them and asking myself like, okay, why would Jason feel the need to ally himself with someone who is so against everything that his father figure taught him? Why would he want to go so far in the other direction when he was the Red Hood? And why do Pyg and Hatter do everything that they do? I really think that was like my process when I was going into it.
That's a great way to look at it, man. And I mean, it probably helps having such amazing writing as well, because the writing for Stained Air, dude, is just beautifully done, Jason. I mean, it's astonishing, man, and as a voice actor, Aiden, when you received like the scripts and everything, were you as taken aback as I was as somebody that's listening, that like reading this, or hearing it, I guess for someone like myself, where it's just like, it fits so well into the world of DC. And I feel like, Jason, like the content, obviously, and you know how to write an intriguing Batman story, if you ask me. And because also, as a voice actor, Aiden, one of the best things that a voice actor can be given is a good script to work with as well, Do you feel like things fall into place seamlessly when you and Jason work together?
I honestly, like, Jason is one of the easiest people to work with, honestly. If I were to like pinpoint like any specific thing that helps us work so well together, it's our mutual love for everything Batman related. Like, I'm pretty sure we have had ad nauseum, like multiple conversations specifically about Batman and his world. And I think that honestly, he understands him better than pretty much anyone that I know. And it's been such an honor, honestly, to work with someone who loves the character that much and is willing to put a new spin on it.
2 years ago, Pyg had you locked up in his basement.
And he's a criminal and he's loose, which means we have to bring him in.
A criminal that hasn't killed anyone this time, as far as we're aware.
Sure, because he's just sitting at home rolling around in mud. Hell, he might just be.
You let me handle Pyg. Play nice. And I may let you talk to him while he's safe behind glass.
I think you're forgetting that you operate here in Gotham because we let you.
Gordon knew how to keep things professional.
I'm not Gordon.
Jason, I remember when I first had you on, you spoke about your inspirations for Stained Air and what you wanted it to be, what you took from, and what you molded into your own vision and everything. And now with episodes 1 through 5 being out, I totally see those inspirations come into life, man, such as Under the Red Hood, Death in the Family, the Arkham games, just to name a few. But another that you did mention was the Brave and the Bold. And I feel like I got to ask you guys, man, being that James Gunn and Peter Safran just announced their DCU future, and in that future includes a Batman film titled The Brave and the Bold. So I feel like, especially Jason, you're like the perfect guy to talk about this with. So we'll touch on like the slate a little bit here and there as a whole, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on the plans for Batman. You know, he stated that it's definitely going to have a focus on Damian Wayne and Bruce realizing that he has a son that was trained by to be an assassin, that storyline, and that we would also be introduced to other Bat family members. So, I mean, what's your take on this? What are your thoughts? What do you want? What don't you want? I mean, let's lay it out, you know, for either of you, whoever wants to go first.
I am really excited. I was excited to see the news because I was very scared that because of Robert Pattinson's Batman, they were just going to have like a Batman-less universe, kind of like the Arrowverse did.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that isn't the case. I am really excited for Brave and the Bold for sure. I'm really excited to have the Bat family on screen. I have really good faith that this will probably be, aside from The Dark Knight, or maybe it'll even be better than The Dark Knight, but I think it'll be at least the second best Batman film of all time.
Nice.
And that's just because I think James Gunn understands the DC lore. I also think that with it being in a cinematic universe, it'll be comic booky, like probably the most comic booky Batman we've ever had. Also, and because Damian is in it, you know, the whole conflict with him and Batman is that Batman doesn't kill him and Damian does. So that also means that Batman will most likely have his no kill rule in the film. I also see them having maybe like a suit to stand out from Pattinson. So this one will probably be more comic accurate, maybe the white eyes, maybe a hint of blue on it. So I see really good things coming out of this movie, and I'm really excited. I hope we get it around 2026. I know that the Batman comes out and part 2 comes out in 2025. So
Yeah.
I imagine they don't want to have them super close, but I think they'll probably release it in 2026. And I think it'll be like the first time that I might be completely satisfied as a Batman fan with a Batman film. So I'm excited.
Nice, man. You know, in my last episode with Joey Red Hood, before this news, it was shot before the news had came out. We kind of talked about it a little bit too, like what we would want from a James Gunn Batverse, at least. And one of the things I said was seemingly what is possibly going to happen was I think it would be cool to kind of have a pre-existing Batverse already going on in this film, where maybe like Nightwing already exists. He's already Nightwing. Dick is already Nightwing. Maybe even Jason Todd already exists as Red Hood or whatever the case may be. And we see the Damian and Bruce interaction. That was literally my thing before the news came out. So I'm kind of excited to see this. But Aiden, like being that you voiced Jason Todd in Batman Stained Heir, like, what are you hoping for? Do you want Jason Todd to appear in this, being that they mentioned other Bat family members? Do you want him to be, Red Hood already, or is he quote unquote dead in your mind? Like, what would you want from Red Hood as far as this universe?
If I had to be talking in like timeline wise, I honestly would have loved to have seen Damian Wayne and Jason Todd interact sometime in this universe. Right. Me personally, I think that those two characters have way more in common than they're each willing to admit. I know that Damian usually in the comics has more of a relationship to Nightwing, seeing as how he took up the mantle of Batman for a time after Batman was presumed dead. And I think that you have a chance to like have an interesting dynamic with Damian and a bunch of the members of the Bat family in this movie. I think, having Jason Todd already be the Red Hood is something that I would like to see. But me, as a Jason Todd stan, I got to be honest, I kind of want to see the origin of the Red Hood in the DCU.
Like on film,
I think that's something because I think, that story is one of the most underrated in all of comics, simply just because of Jason's reasoning as to why he does what he does. And it's mainly just because of this like understanding that like he forgives Bruce for not saving him, but he could never forgive him for letting the Joker live.
Right.
And I think that is something that you could go into with Damian, like having like that understanding between him and Batman that like heroes don't kill. and like Damian just doesn't understand like why you can't just rid like certain people from the face of the earth for the chance to like have actual people who are willing to change be allowed to live instead of just keeping the ones that are terrible alive.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you can really delve deep into with this movie, and it's something I'm looking really forward to seeing. Now, as for the Batman, I'm about to say something really controversial.
Hit us with
Jason may not agree with me.
Hit us with it.
Robert Pattinson is the best live action Batman we've ever had. And I'm sorry.
A lot of people say that on this show, man.
No disrespect to Christian Bale. Literally, he is still to this day one of the best. But in my personal opinion, Robert Pattinson was able to communicate so much with just
I agree.
eyes,
I agree
man.
with that.
And that is kind of why I'm glad that they didn't go with the white eyes in the Batman, because like, yeah, it would have been cool to have seen, and it would have been comic accurate, and it would have added to like the more noir kind of comic booky feel to everything. But I really do think having his eyes available tells you everything you need to know about this Batman. And I cannot wait to see what Matt Reeves does with the rest of his little corner of DC Elseworlds.
Yes.
And it's something that is brewing that I am incredibly excited about.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. You made a lot of good points, and you're actually not alone. A lot of people that come on this show, surprisingly, pick Robert Pattinson when I talk about Batman things, and they say he's the best. You're not alone on that. It's becoming more common, and I think the Batman Part 2 is really going to either solidify that or, you know, take it in a different direction depending on where it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with his Batverse and what they're going to do with it as a whole. I think you're right too about seeing Red Hood. Like, I think you know what's a great way to go about it, in my opinion too, because it seems that they're going to kind of focus on the Bruce and Damian aspect of things. But Jason Ortega, you did it great in Stained Air, where you did touch on that storyline, and you showed the interaction between Joker and Jason and this and that. I think they could do that, whether it be a flashback at some point or kind of how you did, where maybe the movie opens up with that and then they fast forward. I don't know, but I do agree that would be a great scene to show. And I mean, to be honest with you, if they opened up with that would be mind-blowing, and let it be brutal. Like, let it be brutal. He's saying that there's going to be a lot of PG-13 and R-rated films in his plan. I don't know if they're going, you know, R with Batman, but man, let this be brutal. If they do that scene, it should be top-notch in my personal opinion, and really show the brutality and psychoticness of Joker in that moment. I really think that would be amazing. Go ahead.
If I was going to bet money, I would say what they're going to do is the first film will be Batman and Damian. They will definitely reference Jason Todd's death, and then the second film in the Batman series of Bat Universe will probably be Under the Red Hood. So there will be basically like lead up to
chills.
It, and then the second one will probably be that. I mean, at least that's what I would do. I definitely think that the reason they chose Damian is so they don't have to spend, because if you started with Dick, I understand the logic with that, but you would literally need, like, to get from Dick to Damian, you would literally need like 20 years worth of film, which is like way too much. But one thing I do want to say is, you know, a lot of people do say Robert Pattinson is the best Batman. Some people say Christian Bale or whatever, but hot take, the honest truth is, and I guarantee you people will come back to me saying this, the best Batman is going to be whoever they cast in Brave and the Bold, and people will like definitely come back, and when that time comes, people are going to be like, man, this was the best. And I guarantee you, whoever it is, that film will be so incredible and so like pleasing to comic book fans that like everybody will just be like, yeah, that was him. That was the best Batman.
Big statement, man.
I nominate Jensen Ackles. I'm sorry.
Oh man, he would be great. I mean, at this point, put him in anything.
He's in the prime of his life. He's already had experience playing Jason. He's already voice acted Batman.
Right.
And I believe, like, not even like a few years ago, he did a Halloween thing where like he made his own makeshift bat suit.
Yeah, I think so. I saw something.
Like, that was like a call to WB to just be like, hey, dude,
Yep. And then now he's also got the live action experience of being a superhero of sorts with being in The Boys. So like, come on, put the guy in something. If it's not Batman himself, please put him in something. He deserves to be there in something, man. I do want to just run it down just kind of briefly. I want to get your thoughts, especially on James Gunn's Superman, because that's a hot topic. It's big shoes to fill, in my opinion. A lot of people, I see different things like we don't need another Superman origin story, and this kind of doesn't necessarily seem like an origin story, but it is starting at a younger Superman. So I guess we're gonna see. I don't remember everything off the top of my head right now. Forgive me, I should have wrote it all down. So Jason, if you know, because I know you did a post about these things. Do you know where exactly this Superman story is starting?
Well, Gunn has said that he basically knows most of the characters. It's kind of implied that he might have already met Batman before. He might know Lois and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think and there's also rumors that he's 25 in the film. So I think what they're doing is essentially what they did with Robert Pattinson as Batman, where it's kind of like it is an origin film, but the character isn't new to what they're doing kind of thing. So it'll basically be the Robert Pattinson Batman version of Superman in terms of timeline. Yeah. So, I personally think I haven't seen the film. I don't know if it's going to be amazing or if it's going to be bad or whatever. I personally think from what I know, I would have definitely preferred if they stuck with Cavill and tried something there. But you never know. This could be the greatest Superman film of all time. I hope it is. All I gotta say is whoever they cast as Superman, I hope the dude has thick skin. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Aiden his thoughts on that. Because you nailed it right there. The dude's got to have thick skin. People are gonna just be prepared. People are gonna tear this apart. I feel like they see him in the suit for the first time, they're probably gonna tear it apart. They get the casting before you even see anything. They just announce a person's name. They're probably gonna tear it apart. What are your thoughts, man? Aiden, like, are you a fan of Superman? Are you looking forward to this? Were you a Henry Cavill backer? Like, what are your thoughts on a new Superman?
I think honestly, as I get older, I have become more and more of a Superman fan, and usually that works in reverse from what I've seen for most people. Is that usually kids start off liking Superman and then going to like Batman because he's darker and edgier and more mature.
True, yeah.
But honestly, having a hero in our modern age who actually cares about being decent and genuine is something that Peter Safran said that got me really excited about the prospect of Superman Legacy was the idea that, Superman decides to be decent and a genuine human being, not because it's necessary, but because he feels that it's always like the right time.
Yeah.
It's always like there's never a wrong time to be a decent human being. And I think Superman is like the ultimate, thing that we look up to.
Yeah.
Even as kids, with like I grew up on Brandon Routh's Superman Returns. Not necessarily the best Superman film. It's got its own set of problems, but I remember watching that movie like all the time as a kid and thinking it was great. And obviously, WB really dropped the ball with Henry Cavill.
I agree.
They had magic on their hands. They had the world on a string, but in the words of Reggie Cray from Legend, you got the world on a string.
Yes.
You just held it together, so you fucked it up.
Yes,
and
fucking perfect.
And it was so sad hearing that he wasn't coming back, man. Especially 2 weeks after they had announced that he was due to come back in a new Man of Steel movie. But honestly, my heart goes out to him. His Instagram response to it was probably the most Superman thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And regardless of whoever plays the character next, like Jason said, they really are going to have thick skin. But I wish, honestly, whoever gets the role the best. I especially give James Gunn all the love that he needs to make a good script, because my God, dude, if you mess this up,
I know
you are pretty much done. I'm pretty sure that's career suicide.
Yeah, definitely.
If you mess up Superman like one more time, I honestly don't think that anyone's going to stand for it.
Yeah, they've got to get this right. They've got a lot going on. There is no rolling the dice and hoping for the best. Like you got to make this happen. Alongside Superman, I know, me too, man. Alongside Superman and Batman, I'm just going to run down it real quick. We've also got Supergirl. I was never really the biggest Supergirl fan. I did really like her in Injustice, though. I played her as Injustice more than I played Superman. Swamp Thing, I'm really looking forward to. I'll run these down real quick, and then I'll ask you guys if you're looking forward to any. Supergirl, Swamp Thing is one that I'm really looking forward to. The Authority is one that I don't know too much about, actually. Those are films, and then we've got shows. Booster Gold, I'm looking forward to. The Amanda Waller show, I'm a little confused on why we're still doing that. And then the Paradise Lost show, which is basically, I think, before Wonder Woman. And then we've got Creature Commandos, which I don't know too much about as well. And then the Lantern show, which I'm actually very much so looking forward to. Are there any in this list that you don't care about or don't think they should have focused on, or any that you're definitely looking forward to?
I think there's a lot on that list that I really don't give a fuck about, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, well, first off, I can't wait for them to come out so I can be like, this was the biggest piece of shit ever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. The thing is, I'm always down for whatever DC. I will be in the theater for anything DC. So anything DC related will get my money. I'm sure a lot of it will be great. Jokes aside. There's, I think every single character in the DC universe deserves to have their time to shine, even if it's a character that I'm not as fond of as others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see all of them, even though I think there would have been better picks. I hope that James Gunn knows what he's doing with the picks that he chose. I guess we'll just see.
Yeah. Swamp Thing is one that's on my list for sure because it's supposed to be rated R and more horror-esque, and DC tends to do those better than something like a Marvel would. So I hope that they go pretty damn horror with it. Unlike, in my personal opinion, how they called Multiverse of Madness over at Marvel horror. I didn't find that to be horror at all, but that's just me. The Authority and Creature Commandos, I have a little bit more faith in James Gunn with those, even though they're ones that I don't know too much about, only because he seems to do well with an ensemble of a cast, and he seems to do well with lesser known characters and putting them together, like I said, and then making them household names. Will that translate to these? I don't know, but I'm just saying he has a track record of doing pretty damn good with that. Aiden, what are your thoughts on this lineup?
Honestly, I think that this lineup is genius. I've never been like the biggest James Gunn fan by any measure, but when it comes to his movies, he's more often than not gotten me to care about characters that I never would have given a single shit about if a movie hadn't been made about them. Peacemaker, didn't even know who that was. Right, same. I'm going to be honest.
I didn't know either. I'm not going to lie.
He might as well have been as invisible to me as John Cena himself. I didn't know what the fuck his deal was, but then I watched Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, and both were just blew my mind. Yeah. And I don't think that we have gotten something that consistently good from a director in something DC related since Christopher Nolan. And like I said, James Gunn knows what he's doing with these characters, these really obscure ones. And I think that the biggest thing that I love about this lineup is the fact that it's so broad. It has characters that necessarily you wouldn't know from first glance, but it allows the world to seem so much bigger than it was before, especially when it came to the DCEU. The only ones that I felt that were really given any spotlight were the major characters from the Justice League, Harley Quinn, all those people. And even then, later on when Walter Hamada took over, pretty much just got rid of all that anyway. Yeah. But I think with this, you have a chance to still have the Trinity, of Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, all these people, but still allow your universe to feel like it's been lived in. Yeah. Especially, considering that James Gunn has mentioned that one of his biggest inspirations for this universe was the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoons from the early 2000s. Yeah. That was the thing that got me the most excited, because those shows were my childhood.
Yeah.
I used to own a VHS of the first 3 episodes of Justice League
so cool.
on my VHS player when I was like 6.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I played it so many times I ran the tape out. And to hear that is like one of the major inspirations that he's taking for this lineup has got me incredibly excited. So regardless if he's focusing on characters that we've never heard before or ones that we don't have that much of a connection to, I'm hoping that he's able to create emotional connections with them because he's done it in the past and he's got a way to my heart, with these characters. I never thought I'd cry over a tree that only knows 3 words.
Right.
But to this day, we are Groot.
We are Groot.
I want to talk to you guys much more about Stained Air, and we're going to get into that right after we break up the monotony, and let's get into this week's Cosplay of the Week. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is none other than Season Big Bird, and I'm throwing it up on the screen right about, let me get my staff now, and it's Red Robin, and this thing is absolutely phenomenal, man. Absolutely phenomenal. Speaking of the Batverse, speaking of Batman, all of those things, and this amazing shot is by the best, he says, Dork Hero 20. Always a pleasure working with you, and the edit is by the talented Wens.1998, which he says always kicks it out of the park, and he definitely does, man. This edit, this photo, phenomenal. This edit, phenomenal. Season Big Bird, the way that you've got your stance and everything, phenomenal. It's beautiful, man. The edit is just amazing. Wins. You got the exit sign back there, the brick wall. He looks like he's in a corridor or maybe a hallway of some sort. Looks like maybe we're the villains. We're looking at him. We're the thugs or whatever it may be, and we're about to get our ass kicked for sure. I love this, man. You've got the cowl going down perfectly. The eyes are lighting up with the whitish. It's amazing, dude. The suit's looking absolutely phenomenal, and I want to run that down. The base suit is by the amazing, mentioned here several times, Gaslight_Co. The helmet file is by Visa Gear T Productions, I believe. I'm not quite sure exactly how that may be pronounced, but we're going to say that it's that.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The belt is by Do You Even Cosplay, mentioned here several times, and there's an underscore in between each of those. And the shoulders are by him himself, while the cape is by previous Cosplay of the Week, Ecto Titan, and that's Ecto_Titan. I love everything about this, dude. This is beautiful. The suit is absolutely awesome. I like how you kind of have the where the chest is with the red and everything, and then you going down with like the rib cage, the side of the rib cage. You see that it's kind of textured a little bit differently, or that might just be because it's 2 different color tones, so it looks that way. But either way, it's absolutely amazing, dude. The gauntlets are perfect. You got the whole Robin Batman style gauntlets, perfect. DC just coming out with a bang, dude. I absolutely love this. The cape going into flowing down on the side and everything. You can see it in the background. It's just absolutely beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. And I want to throw up a second photo, and I'm throwing that up now, and that is of your Robin and previous Cosplay of the Week, O.B. Arkham as Batman, and I absolutely love this, man. An amazing photo mentioned here several times by Ace Laps. This is perfect, man. Not too often that we see the Bat come out in the daytime, but this is a daytime shot, and I think it's a good daytime shot. Kind of a little reminiscent of, in my personal opinion, one of the first things that came to mind was the Batman when he's atop the scaffold there with Catwoman and everything, and it's Is it evening time? Do you guys remember? We've got, in case this is just a promo clip, you didn't see the whole episode, we have got Legion of Geeks creator and Batman Stained Air writer Jason Ortega here alongside voice actor Aiden Proko in the Batman, you guys, when they're up top the scaffolding or the building or whatever, and it's Catwoman. Is that in the early morning or is that the night?
It's like more towards the afternoon, so it's evening. I also think if you haven't checked out technically they filmed it during the early day, which is funny. If you haven't checked out the behind the scenes of the film, that entire cityscape is it's CGI.
Oh shit.
So it was actually the morning when they filmed it, but then they made it look like the evening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they used that same background that they did for the Mandalorian called the Volume, which basically is this ginormous 4K screen or 8K screen that like has like a bunch of LEDs in it that's meant to like make a background that looks as realistic as possible to make it seem like you're actually there. And yeah, man, in this one photo that you got of Batman and Robin here, that background is badass, and it really fits with the rustic feel of these two scenes.
Definitely, man. It reminded me of that Batman scene. That's why I brought it up. You don't see Bat out too much in the daytime or when there's sunlight or anything, but maybe this is dusk. Maybe this is before. Who knows? And I just love it, man. And the suits are by Gaslight Co. as well. The muscle suit is by Archetype, and that's ARKE type with an underscore at the end. The belt is by Do You Even Cosplay, and the gauntlets and the mask file mentioned here several times is by Ludin _ cosplay. You guys, this is absolutely amazing, man. Seasoned Bird, OB Arkham, I love it, man. OB, you already know you've been a previous cosplay of the week. Seasoned Big Bird, you have been in my vault for quite a long time, man. I've been wanting to feature your stuff. You got amazing Robins, dude. You're amazing Red Robin and everything. I just love everything about it. Jason, you got anything you want? Any 2 cents you want to throw in, man?
I want to say, I mean, I looked at them. They were amazing. I'm always like super astonished by cosplayers. When I was younger, I wanted to do cosplay all the time. I failed miserably at it. So I never did like really go forward with it, but it takes a lot of talent. I see a lot of talent in these. I thought a lot about getting cosplayers to do like promotional photos for Staying There, like kind of play pretend or whatever. There aren't many here in North Carolina, unfortunately. So, you guys as Red Robin, Batman, if you guys want to make a quick flight to North Carolina, just let me know.
Yes, man. Yes. You guys coming together would be absolutely awesome, man. Season Big Bird. Everybody, please go follow Season Big Bird on Instagram. Exactly how it sounds, spelled exactly how it sounds, because Season Big Bird, your Red Robin and Robin cosplay of the week for me and Jason Ortega and Aidan Proko is amazing. All right, man. Wasting no time, dude. Stained Air. Episodes 1 through 5 are on Spotify right now. An amazing Batman audiobook creeping up on the series finale. I promise you, you won't be disappointed if you haven't listened thus far, man. It's an intriguing story, and we're about to get very spoilery here. About to get into spoiler territory for those that haven't checked it out, but I suggest you stay, you know what I mean? Because if you haven't checked it out, maybe you hear a little bit more if you stick around, and it'll give you further incentive to go check it out, man. We've gone through a little bit of Jason Todd's backstory in this series. We heard the Joker versus Robin moments, fast forward, we heard big we've gotten mentions of Damian being the recent Robin in your tellings here, Jason, but he's off with Nightwing and the Titans. He's busy. He's doing Titan shit. But villains are also running wild in this series, man. The Joker is in and out of Arkham. The Executioner is causing problems for Gotham PD and the Bat. Beloved people are dying. Professor Pyg is torturing. Mad Hatter is crying. There's so much going on in this, but yet it's unfolding so beautifully, man. So Jason, juggling this many characters in a limited series, I personally think you're doing it beautifully, man. But the inner workings of it, I gotta ask, in your mind, your writing, putting it together, have you had any worries about putting various characters together in such a short run? Or do you personally feel what I feel from a listener's standpoint is it makes the world feel that much more real and full?
So first thing I did was I wrote down basically a synopsis of the plot. Like, this is what happens in episode 1, this is what happens in episode 2, all the way through episode 6. Kind of, so I had a general idea of where things need to go, what kind of beats need to hit. But what I also did was I took down all the characters that I was going to include. So I made like a list of Batman, Joker, Montoya, etc. And I was like, okay, this is how old this character is. This is what this character likes. This is what this character dislikes. And then one of the things that I put on each one was, this is the arc for this character. This is where they start and this is where they need to end. So kind of what was important for me was just making sure that character has something that propels them in the story, and then to make sure that there is kind of like a resolution to every point where they're propelled. And I think like everybody else in the world, I'm also critical of my work. There are certain things that I think I wish could have been done better. But I think that, yeah, thankfully, every character gets their moment, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing a great job, man. Like, I mean that too. It's not even sitting here for entertainment purposes or anything. I went back before we obviously did this episode and I listened to all of them, like, because I've been keeping up with it, as you know, but I went back and I listened to all of them back to back. I was on a drive and I just sat there, I listened to them back to back as a whole, as if it was like a movie, you know what I mean? And I was picturing it and I listened to it all the way through from 1 to 5. And I was like, God damn, like it flows so good. Like it just flows so good.
You seem so obsessed with justice. Doing my job correctly. Why, I wonder?
Oh, and you were but a little egg then, and now you're ready to fly.
And he's a criminal and he's loose, which means we have to bring him in.
Wait till you see mine.
My job is to make you face the things that you would rather run from.
But that's just it. I thought after what happened, you would let me be Robin again.
I wouldn't say fine. I tend to sometimes feel remorse. But sometimes the Hatter must do bad for justice to set its course.
What? No, anything but. Anything but is found here.
Just over there. It all happened right under our noses.
Well, like he said, he has people on the inside.
Like I said, it isn't a good time. But in case you're ever free when it is, we should stay in touch.
Whoever this executioner is, he is clearly dangerous.
Oh, I know better than to interrupt the brooding session.
Maybe you should write him up for public indecency.
Your parents hated you, okay? They disowned you. Mine aren't close, but at least they're still here.
And one of the things Aiden mentioned earlier was, the struggle of Jason Todd and everything. And, why is he going this way when he could go that way and this and that? And it's later revealed that the executioner is seemingly getting a little bit of a helping hand from Jason Todd throughout this series. I mean, what made you want to go that route with those two characters?
Yeah, I thought the thing was that, I could have sat here and just done a retelling of Under the Red Hood, but I think that's boring. I think it's been done to death. But it was kind of like, how can I honor that story and do parts of it without kind of just rehashing what we already know? So I kind of thought, okay, well, there's this villain, the Executioner. He's the villain I'm using. And his motivation is kind of the motivation of, well, spoiler alert, the motivation of a father. And Jason Todd, I obviously wanted to put him in conflict with Bruce, and his conflict is really motivated and based a lot in a father and son relationship as well. So they kind of have something in common. I think in a way, Jason views the Executioner as the father figure he never really had, or he wants him to be the father figure that he never really had. And the Executioner, though he's kind of in the current point using Jason a little bit, I think he also sees in Jason a son he never had. So it's kind of like they were two opposing figures to Batman that had a lot in common. And I felt that neither one of them in the state that they're currently in could have done what they're doing alone, because Jason, of course, is with Batman in a way now. So he technically needs more of a push to get back into that Red Hood side of himself. And the Executioner doesn't have access to the technology and background knowledge that Robin has had, especially, or Jason has had, especially fighting Batman. I mean, he knows pretty much how to get into his mind and how to work around what he's going to do. So
yeah, man, that is interesting, dude. I mean, you nailed it. That it's done so perfectly as well.
I can help,
I'm aware. Where's Alfred?
Said he had to run some errands.
It's not safe out there for that.
So what should he be doing?
Staying here.
Oh, so we're just your prisoners.
Do you feel that way?
Honestly, yes.
Jason, you're free to go whenever you please. Just not out on patrol.
And why not?
Trust has to be earned.
It's been 3 years since I was the Red Hood.
And what are you now?
Just Jason. But that's just it. I thought after what happened, you would let me be Robin again.
Damian is Robin.
And he is off with Dick and the Titans. What about here? In Gotham? Doesn't this place need a Robin too?
You're not Robin anymore, Jason.
Why not?
Because Robin isn't a killer.
For a man who preaches redemption,
You sure know how to hold a grudge.
I mean, I think everybody as a Batman fan loves the story and the dynamic of Jason Todd and everything that he has going on with Bruce and everything. And I think you did a great job, Jason, by bringing Jason Todd in with the Executioner and doing all of that. And then Aiden, you did a perfect job portraying all of it. I mean, it just all comes together so perfectly, man. And then the way that episode 5 ends going into the series finale, it just makes you want to know like what's happening next, like so bad. I mean kudos, man, to both of you guys. Amazing job, man. For anyone else that wants to get into voice acting, or maybe they are and they just want to hear your take on things, Aiden, I mean, do you do anything specific to get into any of these characters, you know, to get into the role of them? You know, do you feel that some things come naturally for you? Are certain roles harder for you? I mean, do you do research and then tackle it on your own? Like what's the whole process look like for you?
I mean, me personally, I've, you know, been currently going to school for acting for the past 2 years. I'm currently in my college dorm right now, and dealing with like, you know, the space of like, you know, kind of like a smaller space to kind of like analyze a character and like why certain people do what they do. I really do think that's important when going into things first. Like most people have like different processes when it goes to like different forms of acting, but when it comes to voice acting, I hesitate to say it, but I think it's a little bit more hard than just like face to face, because like in live action, it's like you have someone immediately to work off of. You have either the audience or a camera or a scene partner that you're currently working with, that you have someone to like really bounce off of and get like genuine reactions out of, and then, you know, give that to them. I think that was hard going into it, especially with the first few episodes that I recorded, because I didn't really know like how to like really feel anything. But then I started to like realize that it wasn't really about feeling as much, but then really just like kind of like understanding. Yeah. And I really started to like get into that process of like, okay, so like this is what he wants in this scene. How is he going to get it? And if he doesn't get it, what does that mean for him? And how is he going to do everything in his power to get it? And I think, yeah, when it came to Jason, I just wanted to hit the nail on the head with that. Regardless of your abilities, whether you are extremely talented or not, you have an obligation to the character to get to know them as well as you know yourself. And I think that the perfect way to really bring that out and to really make it as genuine as possible so that the audience believes it is to make it genuine to yourself, not necessarily feel everything the character is feeling, but try to empathize and understand it as much as you can.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. And you're kind of right with the whole voice acting versus acting and everything. With acting, you have, you know, your emotions to convey and everything and portray that onto film and whatnot. But with voice acting, you have to get all of that emotion out for the listener just through your voice only. They're not watching you. They're not seeing how everything goes. You really got to portray that. And that's something that I think that you've done beautifully, man. So kudos to you and everybody involved. Anybody else from Batman Stained Air that's watching this right now. Just as I said on the last episode that I had Jason on, everybody is doing a phenomenal job to make this project exactly what it is, dude. Batman Stained Air is a limited series. You previously told me, Jason, that it was going to be a 6-episode run, which means the finale is on the way, if that still is the plan. Is that very much so the plan?
So yeah, I think it is a plan. The 6th one will come out and it'll be the end. There is a Valentine's Day special episode that I'm doing. It is like a 6-minute thing, so I will drop that too. So technically there's 7 episodes, but out of the main story, there's just 6.
Okay, well, definitely. You guys be on the lookout for that. That'll come out the week after this episode comes out, which you're watching right now. Last time we spoke, you did say that you had some ideas for future projects, things that you had in mind, things that you wanted to do. Has anything changed? Has anything come to fruition? Like, what's the future look like for you after Stained Air?
I really don't know. I have been just looking at auditions for acting. While I was writing Stained Air, I was also writing this script for a feature film. I was planning to finish it and get it sold. Because of all the like focus I put on Stained Air, though, I was kind of like, I'll get to it once I'm done with Stained Air. So once I'm done with Stained Air, I imagine I'll write that. I've also thought about like maybe just doing more audio dramas, but obviously not related to Batman, just kind of my own thing. Because I feel like I have a network now to work with, and I think we can make something really cool. It's really cool media and genre to explore. But I really don't know. All I know is that as long as I'm still alive, I will probably be working on creative things. Maybe in 50 years from now or something, if I'm an old man or whatever, you'll have 50 years worth of content or whatever to enjoy from Jason Ortega.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. And I'll be here to support it and look forward to it, man, for sure. You think when you say you're working on some other things outside of Batman, is that still in the superhero realm, or are you thinking like original work? So you writing anything original?
Yeah. I would like to just do original things going forward, unless of course like James Gunn's like, hey man, you want to like be an actor in this Batman thing or whatever. Yeah. Like if it was DC itself, then yeah, of course. But in terms of like things that I'm making, I would like to just make original things. I just feel like it's more challenging as a writer or a creative, and it's just like there's a lot of things that I have on my mind. So I would just like to see something spur my brain instead of it being a mesh of me and some guys that were like alive in the 30s or some shit.
Right. Nice, man. Hell yeah, dude. Aiden, what else you got going on, man? What's life looking like for you after Batman Stained Heir? I know you're still doing theater stuff and everything like that, getting into acting and everything. You plan on doing any more voice acting? Plan on focusing a little bit more on live action acting? I mean, what's going on for you in the future?
Yeah, man. I got some contracts that I cannot legally say at the moment.
I know how that goes.
But I got some good stuff coming up. Mostly voiceover work, but I'm hoping to put together a little short film sometime near the end of this year that I'm hoping gets put together. Also, yeah, I'm still in the learning stages of my career. I'm going to do as much work as I can to like make a buck, because, your school ain't cheap, but when it comes to content for me, I guess you'll just have to wait and see. I think there's a few things on the horizon that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about come mid 2023. So be on the lookout for that.
Hell yeah, man. Jason, when can we expect the series finale for Batman Stained Heir?
I would like to do February 28th because that's my birthday. I think that would be really fitting. But I don't know if that will be the case. I definitely see it happening around like at latest of March time. So it'll be done around then. Yeah, man, I've been blessed to have like a really good cast that loves working on this, did it with no complaints at all, enjoyed doing it. I think you can see it in a lot of the performances, especially like in Aiden's as Jason. I've had so many people like message me and be like, dude, the guy who did Mad Hatter was awesome, or the guy that did Professor Pyg was awesome. And I just like I just think it's really cool to have worked with everyone on this, and I just hope the finale is satisfying to those who have listened, and I hope that and that it's a thing that I put out, and then maybe in like 3 to 4 years from now, whenever we continue to hear about it, because that means that it was pretty.
Yeah, definitely. And that seems to be a lot of the ways that things work. You know what I mean? You leave it out there, it's up there, it's always there for people to see. Sometimes people go back and all of a sudden it skyrockets and it gets a second life as well. You know what I mean? So I definitely hope that something like that happens, man. While we are going to get ready to get out of here, I want to give you guys the floor, man, to say whatever it is that you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, tell people where they can find you and all that good stuff. Aiden, why don't you go ahead and go first, man?
Yeah, just stay tuned on a little thing called Wood Elf Productions. Be watching that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. They're the same people that do Distractable with YouTubers like Markiplier and his friends Bob and Wade. Make sure that you listen to that, because some big things are coming there soon. And yeah, man, if you see me in a short film in the near future, Just letting you know, this man gave me my shot. You know, Jason Ortega. I gotta be honest. This man has broadened my horizons like nobody else, and I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for him. So I want to thank you, man. I can honestly say that now in the first few years of my career now, I have played a midget who is incredibly or small person. Sorry,
no, you're good.
Someone who is obsessed with fantasy stories. A pig who's a sociopath who likes opera and also game shows for some reason, and a highly trained killer with daddy issues.
Yes, dude, that is some credits right there, man. I love it, dude. Aidan Proko, ladies and gentlemen. I love it, man. Jason, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons I made this project is kind of just because for myself, I know that the industry is kind of one of those. It'll only work for you if you know people and if you have things to show. So the complicated part is creating something to show, being in something to show, or getting to know people. So for me, it was kind of just like, I was like, okay, what can I make that is relatively affordable or simple so I can have something to put on my resume? I also thought, how could I share the experience of being able to make something like that and the benefits of it with other people? It's kind of why I wanted, like an ensemble cast for this, and why I brought in people that, I was friends with. Like I was friends with Aiden before this, because at the end of the day, no matter what you star in, no matter how it turns out, it is something that broadens your network and allows you to have something to show in case you need to show something. So I'm glad to hear that Aiden has been able to broaden his horizons from this. I hope everybody else on the cast has been able to broaden their horizons from this. Every single credit that you put on your IMDb or your actor's resume or whatever gets you one step closer to whatever goal you want it to get closer to. That's why I also allow you to do that one victim yell.
Yeah,
and
I did a little yell.
Yeah. So, all those things matter. You can put that on your resume as well. Yeah. There's tons of people that, spend years and years being extras on things. And those like extra roles, eventually land on a side role and then a main role. So it was just kind of about that. I'm glad that we're about to have a finished project. So, people can show a finished product and move forward. So yeah, it's just been awesome. As for where to find me, the Legion of Geeks is my Instagram page, my comic book Instagram page, where you will either enjoy it or be severely pissed off.
The comments get crazy.
So that's where you can find me. And whatever other work I choose to do in the future. So Batman Staying There is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. It has its own Instagram page as well, though I doubt after episode 6 there will be much use for that Instagram page, which is why I put it on the back burner in this message. But yeah, also if you are listening to this and you came from my page and you're listening because it's my page, I implore you to stay and check out the rest of the side project episodes.
Thank you, man.
They're a really good podcast. I have people message me all the time and be like, dang, that guy was like really good when they saw the last episode. And I'm like,
Thank you.
bro, he's definitely got a future in podcasting or interviewing or whatever. That's evident by how you did that stuff at Comic-Con, that Comic-Con panel. That's big stuff. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, man. You killed that shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that, you guys.
Yeah, it was, it was dope, bro. And, I'm glad to have both of you in my network. It's totally awesome. And with that, I will shut up with my 40-page essay. I just want to say, yeah, like everything is awesome. Everything's for a reason. And I hope that everyone involved in all this stuff sees a lot of future in their success. And everybody who listens to Staying There thank you. If you're going to go listen to it now, thank you too.
Definitely.
And that's it.
Definitely, man. And ladies and gentlemen, also please go follow Aiden Proko at PRO_KO on it, K_O, PRO_K_O on Instagram, and follow everything that he's doing. And like Jason said, the Legion of Geeks on Instagram, Batman Stained Air on Instagram. Stay up to date for the remainder of what it is. And Batman Stained Air episodes 1 through 5 are out right now. They're absolutely phenomenal. That little special Valentine's Day, you said, right? Was it Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day thing is on the way on Valentine's Day, and the series finale might land on February 28th as well. You guys have to go check it out. It's been absolutely awesome listening to it. I love it. It's phenomenal. Everything I said here, I mean it. And I thank you guys for coming on, man. This has been great to chop it up with you guys about everything in between, the details of Batman Stained Air, your personal lives and what you got going on, and your thoughts on the DCU slate and everything. I love it, man. And anything else you guys got going on in the future, we'll give it a little bit of time. Let life happen. Let some projects happen, and we definitely will come back and we'll do something again, man, for sure. Definitely, man.
Always a pleasure, seriously.
Oh, man, yeah, definitely, dude. And everybody that's tuning in right now, thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for doing all those beautiful things that you do over on youtube.com/Side Project Podcast. When you go down, you hit that big red subscribe button, and when you hit it, it goes, and you get 100 sexy project points. What are they used for? I don't know, man. We're still trying to figure it out. What is it, like 136 episodes, 137 episodes? I have no idea. We're still trying to figure it out. They're like Sonic rings, or they're like Mario coins. We're not quite sure what they're doing. They're just racking up high scores. We have no idea. And thank you for watching and following and rating on Spotify, as videos are available on Spotify as well. And thank you for listening wherever it is that you listen. If you listen and you tune in where podcasts stream. If you're looking for me, you can find me at IG Hates Chazzy on Instagram. And anything else you need to find me on is right here on the screen right now. Or I think it's on this side, actually. It's not clickable, but everything is in the description box below. You can click it, you can find it there, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can put it in your pocket, save it for later. If you're looking for the Instagram of Side Project Podcast, you can find it on Instagram at Side Project Podcast. Remember, that's Project with a K. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Ortega, Aiden Proko, Batman Stained Air. We're out.
Oh, bro, that was awesome.